welcome to the show. It's What the Fuck Tuesday, relationship advice live stream that we do every Tuesday here on the Debsterism channel. Before we get started, I want to say two things. Number one, people had sent me, I received, I think it was 3, maybe 4 emails. People wanted to see the rolling pin that I had referred to as having thrown at this guy I lived with. This is it. This is the the tool of destruction of a wall. When I was throwing it and it went sealed into the wall just like this. This is it. Still, this thing is like 30 something years old and it still works great and still looks brand new. So that is that. And this other thing I want to say is I hope you guys had as much fun on Thanksgiving as I did. My relatives are absolutely crazy. We had so much food, it was insane. And then instead of everybody getting the itis and just sitting around afterwards, they got out these microphones and turned on the karaoke machine. And the people who couldn't sing were background dancers, backup dancers, whatever you call it. And so they're back there doing their temptation moves and, all the stuff here. We had a good time. It was hilarious. So I hope you had a good time too. So let's get started with our questions. We have 25 advice questions today. For those of you who are new here, this show is not a show where you call in and get your advice or type it in the stream. This isn't that show. These people have already sent their questions in advance, and their questions were selected by my cousin and put into this document for me to read and then respond to the questions. So don't ask me, well, what about this and what about that? And, did they say, I don't know. What's here, this is it. This is all we know. Okay, so don't ask me. Do not. Let me switch over here so I can see who's all up in here. What's happening, Jeanette? I haven't seen you up in here in a while, and Melanie too. Sue. Oh, girl, that crazy giggles. Lord have mercy. We have a new person, Black Women Navigating Lupus. Thanks for coming. I hope you are entertained and learn something too, everybody, while you're here. So let's get started. Question number 1 is a female in the 22 to 27 age group. She's white from Liverpool, England. Summary of issue. I don't know if I should just quit my job or report to my coworker. I attended a staff drinking party at my workplace, and at the end of the night, the new guy did something really strange. He pulled me from behind and covered my mouth with his hand, which set me off into panic mode. He let me go, and without a word, I just went straight to the guy that was sitting in front of us and asked if he saw that, but he was too drunk to notice anything. I ended up crying the whole way back in the taxi. The taxi driver asked if the guy was drunk, and I was like, yeah, but I don't think either way that's normal behavior. My boyfriend is saying I should just report it to the boss, and if they don't fire him, then just quit. I have a lot of trauma with violent men, so I really don't tolerate things like this because I know where it leads. But on the other hand, I don't want to start drama and potentially make someone lose their job or look like an idiot because I'm over-exaggerating. I also have a big problem with standing up for myself. So thinking about speaking up is really scary to me, which is why I'm just thinking of never going back there again. I wanted to leave at the end of December anyway. Well, if you want to leave at the end of December anyway, then so be it. But I'm going to caution you to do that without addressing this problem. No matter where you go as a young woman in the 22 to 27 age group, you're going to run into fools. They're going to be on the street. They're going to be in clubs. They're going to be at parties. They're going to be on the job. They're going to be on the transit. They're going to be in stores. They're going to be in restaurants. They're going to be everywhere because there's just a group of men that don't know how to act. So I guess they do and they choose not to. I don't know which one it is. It probably varies from person to person. But whatever the case is, this kind of behavior, inappropriate touching and threatening behavior, is something that you're going to run into. The best thing that you can do right now is figure out a plan to deal with it. I'm not, of course we all hope that this doesn't happen. Of course it's inappropriate. And of course it's wrong. It violates women's boundaries. It's all kinds of wrong. But I'm not talking about his behavior. I'm talking about how you handle it so that you can handle it in a way that leaves you feeling empowered and in charge of yourself versus feeling like a victim. So in this case like this, when he covered your mouth with his hand, you should have bit the fuck out of it. Okay. Other than that, you elbow him really hard, or like I'm sure you had a party, you had on high heels, you just step on the instep of his foot. Or if you were flexible, you could swing your leg back and kick him in the gonads. Either way, he would have let you go immediately. But when somebody does anything near my mouth, I bite. And I bite hard as I can. And since I talk a lot, my jaws are strong. Okay, so you have to kind of think about, and this, I know this sounds crazy, but I sit around and think of how I'm gonna get people back. I think about if I'm in this situation, this happens, and this happens, this person does this and that. I come up with a plan. Please, ladies, start doing that. So that when it happens, you've already thought about how you're gonna get out of it, how you're gonna respond, and you go into it automatically. I know it sounds crazy. I'm telling you, this is a habit I've had since I was about 14. I look at different situations like on the news or whatever, things people have told me, and I think about, well, if I'm in that situation, what would I have done? And so that's how I arrive at all of these things that you hear now so quickly. That's something I've been training myself to do my entire life. So, your boyfriend says just quit and everything. And since you're going to leave anyway, like I said, I don't have a problem with that. But I'm somewhat concerned that you're just going to, absorb this as being something wrong with you and take all of this negative energy with you to your next job. You need to report his behavior because it's very threatening. It was totally inappropriate. And how it made you feel and how you want them to know that this guy has some predatory behaviors towards you, because that's what that is. And so he didn't touch you, like touch your bosoms or your butt or anything like that. But still, his behavior was grossly inappropriate, and it was definitely firmly in the camp of sexual harassment. Okay, so you need to do that, report it, and then start making your moves to get up out of there. But report it first. Okay, that's for you. You have to feel like you're taking charge of the situation. It's mandatory that you start doing that now. Okay, got to do that. Yep, this is definitely a what would Deb do moment. Because I already know I have bitten some. Don't put your hand near me, my face, because you gonna have a problem. And I don't have false teeth. These are my teeth. And my teeth have long roots and they're strong. So yeah, I'm gonna bite the hell out of somebody. So let's move on to question number 2. This is a young man in the 28 to 34 age group from Sugar Land, Texas. Oh my God, I've been there a couple of times. Summary of issue. My wife insists on inviting her sister to Christmas dinner despite a history of D and theft. And the D is not the kind of D that's on men, it's the other kind. Substances. Okay. My wife's slightly younger sister has a history of theft, substance abuse, and has lost custody of her 3 young children. Oh man, she's bad then. We are hosting a Christmas dinner on Christmas Eve, and she is supposed to come as well as her ex-boyfriend who has custody of her children. On top of her own aforementioned issues, which concern me greatly, she has an extremely controlling and unstable boyfriend who has a history of tracking her phone and locations, reading her texts, and deleting pictures of her and her ex with their kids on her phone due to extreme jealousy. The fact that her and her ex will be under the same roof in our home has me very concerned. Even though I know it's unlikely, I'm worried about the potential of her being tracked or the guy showing up at our home and drama or violence ensuing. Again, I know this isn't necessarily a likely scenario, but it doesn't stop me from having what I consider to be reasonable concerns. My wife, meanwhile, is dismissive of my concerns. She understands why I have them and isn't being cruel toward me about them, but she is insisting that I shouldn't worry. It doesn't seem open, rather, to changing much about the situation. How can I ensure my own comfort while also being respectful? Well, in Texas, can't you have a gun? I mean, if you don't know how to use it, though, don't, because you're going to have a whole bunch of people in your house, you might hurt somebody. But if you do and you have a license and you know what you're doing, I would have my piece on me. So in case some BS breaks out before my house is destroyed or somebody's really hurt or worse yet, Cade in my house, I would be popping off some caps in somebody. That's what I would be doing. I would suggest keeping your cell phone on you, Cue your phone up so that you have 911 on speed dial. So there's a one button press. You don't have to sit there and go 911. Okay. You do that. And if you have any burly buddies, or if you know any cops that you can invite to the house while the party is going on, they can just be a guest. Nobody needs to know who they are. Then you can do that as well. You know, the main number one thing is, I'm going to say this to you. The fact that you're supposed to be the man of the house. This heifer steals and she uses drugs and she doesn't even have custody of her own kids because of her errant behavior. It is your job to protect everybody in your household when they are in your household, as well as your own family members. So in this case, I would not give a damn what my wife said. That bitch is not coming up in my house, and neither is that motherfucker who has her kids. Okay, do I make myself clear? If you don't like it, you can get your shit and you can go over there where they are and be over there for Christmas Eve. But what I'm not going to have is any kind of environment where there's a risk, even a remote one, for people in this house being hurt or worse yet, offed because of somebody's jealous, wild behavior. And I would just tell my wife that. It's like, I don't really give a shit what you have to say. It's my job to protect you from your own stupid self, as well as protect my kids, my parents, and all the other people who's going to be up in this house. Your sister, that's great, but you see your sister on your time away from this house. Y'all go to lunch, go to dinner, go to the movies, whatever you want to do. Don't bring that bitch up in my house. And that would be the end of it. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? I was like, but it's like he's trying to be the nice husband. Don't be the nice husband. Be a fucking asshole. And she going to be mad, and guess what? She going to get the fuck over it. Because the bottom line is, you know, as soon as something funky went down, oh my God, I never thought that she would do anything like that. And in the meantime, it's blood splattered on your walls and police crawling over your house and your kids are traumatized and everything else because she want to be stubborn and invite her raggedy ass sister up in your house, probably gonna be going in your bedroom and stealing shit anyway. They steal everything, anything, toasters, you know, CDs, anything at all that has any remote value that they can pawn or sell on the street, they're going to take it. She wouldn't be up in my house. I'm sorry. So, you know, give that some thought. I mean, it doesn't sound like that's really your personality because you are really worrying about this and you know, trying to figure out a way to make it all right. Deb don't operate like that. It's my house. It's my shit. That's going to be missing and it's going to be a problem for me. If it's there even a remote, like a teeny tiny little piece of of opportunity for a problem to come up, you can't come here. And that's just all it is. I have relatives that's banned from my house. Some of them don't even know where I live. And you know what? I like it like that because I don't want them to ever have to be like, well, I was in the neighborhood and I just dropped by. No, you wasn't. You're not coming here. You know, I already had enough experience with relatives stealing my stuff. So you know, it's just like, you know, little lightweight stuff, earrings, you know, little jewelry and little BS stuff, but it doesn't matter. It's mine. And you took it without my permission. So you stole it. And you're supposed to be relative to someone that I could trust. Can't do it. Can't do it. What's up, Shay? Shay is here. Yeah, dude, come on now. Get your testosterone up and get this under control, and make sure your wife knows if she does something that goes beyond. She does that and invites her sister anyway, that you're going to call the police and you're going to have her sister arrested for trespassing. So let her know that, so she won't get. It's going to embarrass you in front of all your friends and your family, and your sister's going to be in jail. So what do you want? Because I'm not playing with you about this. I love you, but I'm not playing with you about this bitch. She's not coming up in here. And that would be me talking to my wife. She didn't like it. Then, like I said, you could get your shit and you go over there with her in the homeless shelter. And y'all celebrate Christmas over there. That's what you could do. Question number 3. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group from Mesa, Arizona. Summary of issue. I sold a top that my friend bought me, and now she's asking about it. What do I do? Oh. My friend bought me this high-end top a little over 3 years ago. It's beautiful, and I'm extremely grateful for the gift, but I didn't wear it much because it didn't flatter my body well. After a couple of years and only a couple of wears, I decided to resell it. It's since come up in passing where she asked me to borrow it. And while we've brushed past the conversation, I'm worried it's going to come up again, even as a joke. I realize I probably shouldn't have sold it in the first place. I should have offered it to her first. And I wish I hadn't sold it. I've tried reaching out to the reseller to try to get it back, but trying to figure out the most graceful way to navigate it from here. Any input is appreciated. Okay, first of all, you had it was years ago, and she asking about it now. You tell her, I don't have that anymore. What's wrong with you? Fashions have changed, and it's gone. I gave it away. Don't tell her you sold it. Just say, oh, I gave it to somebody, or whatever. And then let her just deal with it. Because if you want to give somebody something, it's theirs, and they can do whatever they want to with it. Go set it on fire, put it in the bathtub, flush it down the toilet, whatever they want to do, it's theirs. So I don't understand why you having all this angst about something. She shouldn't be asking you about something that she gave you 3 years ago, and she want to wear it now. Bitch, if you liked it that much, what you gave it to me for, you should have kept it. That's what she would have got from me. Don't be thinking that I'm gonna be hanging on to some shit for lifetimes and stuff. Clothes, I need room for my new clothes in my closet, in my drawers. I don't have time for that. That's old. And it's gone. Don't ask me about it. So that's what I'm going to tell you. Just tell her, that was years ago. I don't even know what happened to it. I don't have it anymore. That's what you tell her. She's going to be like, well, what did you do? I don't know. I can't even tell you. One thing you're not going to do, though, is tell her that you sold it. Okay? You're not going to do that. I just thought of something too, might be a test, because maybe she ran into it at that reseller, and now she's trying to figure out, if that's the one she bought you, or if it's just, somebody else had one. That's why you're going to deny any and all knowledge of where it is. I don't know what happened to that thing. I know a couple of people wanted to borrow it. Maybe I just forgot to get it back. I don't really know. It was so long ago. Question number 4, female in the 22 to 27 age group. She's African-American from Los Angeles, California. Summary of issue. My family keeps telling me that I haven't found a partner because I'm, quote, closed off to love. What does that even mean? And how do I stop being closed off? I'm 24 and have struggled with relationships my whole life. Okay, wait a minute. You're only 24. What you mean your whole life? For the last 6 weeks? I mean, what are you talking about, little girl? And my family is insisting that I'm, quote, closed off to love. And that's why it won't happen for me. I don't really know what that looks like or how to stop. Do you have any advice for me? Yes, stop listening to your family. Stop listening to your family. Tell them this. And you're going to, whatever language you need to use, you're going to say, as I look around at the relationships in this family, I'm not seeing anything so stellar and wonderful that I would want to replicate it. So I have decided to take a different path where I'm going to concentrate on myself. And I'm going to do what I want to do. And I'm going to go to places I want to go. And then when I absolutely positively run out of stuff to do, then I will look for a relationship. But right now, that's not a priority for me. Right now, I'm concentrating on myself. And, you guys want me to be in that trick bag of problems and drama with you because of your man and all this crazy stuff that he's doing. I'm not trying to be about that life. So what you have to do, essentially, young lady, is you flip it back on them. They are trying to, even if it's not true, that's how you're going to make it sound, that they're trying to put you in a situation so you can be miserable like they are. Whereas, you're single and free. You do what you want to do, where you want to do it, and with whoever you want to do it too. They don't have that kind of freedom because they settled down with some raggedy ass man. So you think about what I'm saying here. Think about the relationships that they have, and you think about the problems that they talk about and stuff they experience. And then when you flip it on them and say, well, I'm not seeing where that's, your shit is so fantabulously wonderful that I would want that in my life. All I see you having is dragon drama. I'm not about that life. You use phrases like that and they'll get the idea and they'll shut up. Most likely they'll be, somewhat defensive. Oh no, we have a good, everybody has problems. It's not that big of a deal. They're going to, try to justify it. And you just, never mind all that. Like I said, even if I had 2 problems, it would be 2 more than I have now. Okay. So no, I'm not going to be bothered, and don't bring this topic up to me again. I don't want to hear it. They don't want you to be stuck with some dusty bum like them. You're not closed off to love. You're only 24. Okay, give it a rest. I don't understand this pressure they're trying to put on you to just align yourself with some raggedy man. Ooh, the dudes in your age group are trash anyway. Okay, just trash. So you're not missing nothing. But you listen to this advice column every week. All these young girls in your age group, 22 to 27, just going through all kinds of drama, all kinds of emotional turmoil, all kinds of mental stress and trauma. It's a bunch of nonsense. So I'm not going to say that you're missing anything. Like I said, concentrate on yourself, get to do all the stuff that you want to do. And then when you get tired of that, then you can look for a relationship. Question number 4, female 22 to 27. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the one I already read. Number 5, female 18 to 21. She's Asian from Santa Clara, California. Summary of issue. How do I tell a guy that I just want to be friends? I have a male friend who's 24 and he likes me. I'm 19. I like him too, but not nearly as much as he likes me. And I am in no way ready for a relationship right now anyway. I recently got out of a very toxic relationship that left me with trust issues. I just need to focus on myself, and I made this clear to him. But a couple of nights ago, a conversation turned eggplanty. It felt right for the moment, so I just went with it. After everything happened, I instantly regretted it. It happened again, and I was fine with the conversation that started it, but when it turned physical, I felt extremely uncomfortable. I didn't know how to shut it down, so I just kind of froze and got it over with. This left me disgusted in myself for not saying no. So when it started a third time, I just told him I was too tired to continue the conversation and left. It's not like it's just casual for him. If it were, I'd have no problem telling him to stop. But there are feelings attached. He tells me almost every day now how happy I make him, even though he knows I'm not ready for commitment. He's one of my best friends, and I don't want to hurt him by telling him I don't want to get busy with him. I'm worried that he's going to say I led him on, which I guess I kind of did by not telling him I regretted it. But how do you tell a dude that seems so happy after a physical encounter not happening ever again? I'm kind of just avoiding him as now, but that can't continue for long. How do I tell him I don't want to be just friends without hurting him? You can't. See, what is this? Everybody want to do stuff and then worry about hurting the other person. The person who's being hurt right now is you. Okay, because you feeling pressured, coerced to do stuff with this dude of a physical nature that you don't want to do. Okay, that is the worst thing that you can do to yourself as a woman. It totally just eviscerates your self-esteem. You need to stop this, and you don't need to ever do this again, ever. And all y'all listen to this, don't you ever do that. And the number one thing that you could do is you don't need to go to his house, and you don't let him go to yours. The further you stay away from anything where you could be horizontal, the better. Okay, that just makes it a lot easier. If you see him out in public, and then you say, I gotta go. Okay, now, what you're really gonna have to do, though, is find your voice. And you're going to have to say, look, we did something a couple of times that probably shouldn't have done. I'm not feeling real comfortable about it because I told you I don't want any kind of relationship with you. And that includes a booty call relationship or FWB or whatever. I don't want to do any of that. So we're going to shut this down. I'm not going to be sleeping with you anymore. And, if you don't want to just be friends, I understand it because you like me. But I can't do this and I don't want to do it anymore and I'm not going to. And you never be alone with him again. You don't eat or drink anything that he gives you. Okay. You got to put some serious barriers up to this guy. To anything progressing. Heed my words. Okay. Women in this situation, the guys get resentful sometimes. And the next thing you know, they start slipping stuff into your drinks or your food. Do not leave anything like that where he has access to it and you're not right there on top of it. Don't do it. Don't be alone with him. He's going to be in his feelings when you reject him, but there's nothing you can do about that because if you keep on this path, you're going to be the one, seeking lower and lower mentally and emotionally. You can't do that so that he can be happy. You can't sacrifice yourself like that. Most likely, this friendship is over because you're going to be, quote, just friends. You can't be friends with a man that wants more. And it's too hard to just reverse a relationship and be friends with somebody that you slept with when you know that they like you. That's not going to work. Don't even disrespect him by offering that. You're just going to say that you're not going to do. You let him come to the conclusion that the relationship is over. Okay. You don't have to say it. You just tell him what you're not going to do ever again. And then let him, where the chips fall where they may. He'll make the right decision. But don't tell him you just want to be friends. Don't you dare say that, because you know that's not true. Question number 6, male. He's also 18 to 21. Caucasian from Boston, Massachusetts. Summary of issue. A girl cancels the first date twice in a row. How should I respond? That's the easy one. Look at all this that you wrote about it. Okay, dude, to sum things up, she canceled twice. She don't get another opportunity. See, for me, by the first one, I mean, unless you hospitalized or was in a car accident or your babysitter canceled, or I mean, something that's really, you there's no out from it, then let's move on here. Obviously, you're not interested. Okay, now you wrote a whole bunch of stuff with all this information and all this stuff, but that's the bottom line. That's the answer to your question, and I'm gonna move on to the next one. Question number 7, female, 22 to 27. She's Caucasian from London in the UK. Summary of issue: not wanting to have a threesome. Okay. A friend of mine started pursuing me, and after feelings got involved, he flat out told me that he wants occasional threesomes in our relationship if we start dating, and I told him I'm not comfortable with that, and now he's saying that's a deal breaker. Any advice on this situation? Give him two middle fingers up like this and tell him that's perfect, because he wasn't offering you shit anyway, and you wasn't trying to be his freak of the week. That's what you do. Okay, you'd be happy that he said that's a deal breaker. It's like, he would have so got cussed out. Like, motherfucker, you act like your ass is gold plated and you have some extreme high value and stuff. You are just some raggedy motherfuckers who want to be trying to get some free pussy. Ain't nobody interested in what you're talking about. Get out of here. As a matter of fact, lose my number. Forget you know me. That's what you were supposed to tell his ass. Instead, you up here writing me trying to say, what advice do you have? Do not be stupid. When men treat you like this, they just treating you like a hoe. And the fact that you sitting up here, so I'm not, comfortable with that. You're not supposed to say that's not comfortable with that. You tell that motherfucker, you a freak, get the fuck away from me. That's what you say to him. How you gonna let somebody talk to you like that? He's not even I mean, I know some people do that like when they're married and stuff. I guess they get bored. I don't know what they be doing. And then they, decide to open up their marriage. He ain't your man. He's not your husband. He ain't your boyfriend. He's nothing to you. He's just somebody trying to slide up and be a freak using your body to do it. And you actually took the time to write this letter to ask for advice about that bullshit. Young lady, you need your ass kicked. That's what you need. You need your ass kicked. You don't understand that some dude approaching you with some bullshit like this shows that he has no respect for you and he thinks you just a desperate hoe. That's what he thinks. And the fact that you wrote this letter and are considering it gives me pause to think he may be right. Get your shit together, okay? This is a no-brainer. My goodness. I mean, yeah, he's a pig, but he asked the right person because she up here, considering it. Man, I would still be cussing him out. I can't even imagine how many lungs full of air I would have to take till I got tired of cussing him out. Question number 8. This is a female in the 22 to 27 age group. It just says UK. Summary of issue: there's a man threatening to post my pictures on the internet. I made the mistake of sending my sexy photos to a stranger on the internet in exchange for money. He was the one who asked me. I didn't go after that, but since I really need money now, I ended up accepting his offer. But he wanted pictures that were very explicit and showing my face, and I didn't want to accept it. After that, he started threatening me with the photos I had already sent him. I just replied to him saying that he was a liar because he had promised me that he would not share the photos and that I would not send any more photos. After that, I did not look at his messages on Snapchat. I'm scared, and I don't know if it's better to keep ignoring him or to tell him that if he leaks my photos, I'm going to the police. What do you think? I'm so sad about this. The need for money made me do this shit. Note, we are from different countries. How you going to go to the police about it and he's in a different country? I'm going to say this. Now, I know a lot of people are not going to agree with me, but this is how I feel about this. When you're an adult and you making this, I'm not talking about a kid, you're a grown, legal adult, living on your own, responsible for yourself, all this kind of stuff. And you make a decision that, even though it's a stupid decision, you still made that decision because in the moment you had needs that needed to be met more than you were concerned about future, I don't know, reputation and, whatever else comes with these decisions that y'all be making. So in that moment, you weren't thinking about what if he posts this on the internet or, what if he shares these photos? What if my mother sees this? What if you weren't thinking about any of that? You were only focused on the fact that you needed money, and that is most likely like a survival type thing. You talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, food, shelter. I mean, those are things that people need before they can even start thinking about emotional things and education and stuff like that. So you, that was the decision that you made. So I'm going to say this, as a grown woman, own it. Stop running from it. The only reason he's threatening you with that is because he knows, he's using it as a way to manipulate you. All you have to do is tell him, you know what, go ahead. Because it's nothing that I'm ashamed of. I have a beautiful body. That's why you wanted pictures of it. So you go right ahead and you knock yourself out and you post them everywhere. But just understand this, other people going to get for free what you had to pay for. So that would seem kind of stupid, don't you think? You paid and they get it for free. The same thing you paid for. I'm not saying logic, but if that's what you want to do, you just go right ahead. And then you block him on everything. If you, just block him. If you need to change your phone number, change it. Whatever you need to do, whatever way he's contacting you, just put in barriers in place so he can't contact you anymore. Okay? But that's how you yank the rug out from under him. He has you running scared. Stop running. Turn around and face the music. There may be some follow-up, but guess what? You just gonna have to eat it because you're going to have to take that L because that's the decision that you as a grown woman made. And when you make decisions, any and all repercussions of those decisions are your responsibility. You have to be accountable to yourself for the choices that you make. So in this situation, you just going to have to eat it, like I said. But if you do approach this in a courageous way and remind him that he paid money for stuff that other people are going to get for free, and that's not going to hurt you because you're not ashamed of it, and so his threats are falling on deaf ears, then he will leave you alone. The only reason he's doing it is because he thinks it's a way to manipulate you and coerce you into giving him what he wants. See? So if you remove that power from him, then he'll be powerless over you. Stop running. Turn around and face the music. It's time. And then don't be making stupid ass decisions like this in the future. If stuff goes on the internet, it's there forever. That's the part young girls don't think about. It's there forever. Okay? So I don't even want people to take regular pictures of me. Like take headshots and shit. Nope. I don't need a picture of me. What you need a picture of me for? Nope. We're not going to do that. So that's my response to you. And I hope that you heed my word. That's the only way you're going to get out of this in a way that, is powerful. Question number 9, female 22 to 27. She's mixed race from Calgary, Canada. She says, summary of issue, how can we tell our friends that their kid can't come to our Christmas party? Okay, Christmas parties is the theme tonight. Noticing that? I guess, yeah, because Thanksgiving's over, so now everybody's focusing on Christmas. I guess after that's going to be New Year. Hey, Deb, Candace, and everyone. My fiance and I, both 23, have a small group of friends of all ages between 22 and 25. 2 of our friends are married and have a 3.5-year-old daughter. I just finished decorating the house for Christmas. It's our first year living together, and we haven't had an engagement party, so we thought it would be nice to kind of have a Christmas party with nice dinner and plenty of drinks. The problem is that our friend's kid is an absolute nightmare. We have a little get-together maybe once a month, and we have to baby-proof the entire house before they arrive, taking down all knickknacks and books, putting locks on the fridge and pantry. Oh, my God. Hide our cat in the laundry room, etc. And things still usually get broken or stained. This kid has destroyed collectible toys that I've allowed her to play with, stained our carpet with pizza, and colored all over our coffee table with markers. Wow. Some care also gets left up to me or 100, and I really don't want to have to put everything away. They are the only ones with the child, and I can't say the event is adults only because they will take it as a personal dig, which I mean, my fiance wants to get them to leave her at home by saying something along the lines of, why don't you guys leave the baby at home so you can actually have a good time? And it turned into a whole thing about how we hate their kid, which isn't true. Any advice on how to navigate this? I wouldn't give a fuck if they did say, I hate your kid. Like, you right. You look at that little raggedy ass Caesar, every time she comes in here, she breaks up $100 worth of shit and destroys my house. So if you want to put it down as me hating her, no, what I really hate is your bad parenting. But in any case, if you want to bring her, she can't come. If that's a problem for you, then you stay home with her. But either way, you're not bringing that back to my house no more. I'm done. Okay? She belongs in a zoo some damn where, not in somebody's house. I don't know. I mean, I've thrown my own relatives in there. You know, these kids, I'm related to these kids. And I gives no fucks. I tossed them and their parents up out of my house. We're not doing that. So I don't understand it. You know, I mean, one time, you know, you talk to the parents, you talk to the kid, whatever. You say, not only what you do at home, but at this house, you don't do this, you don't do that. And you sit your little butt down and you don't color on my furniture and you don't, you know, I mean, I'll talk to the kids if the parents won't. And then I will admonish them and I say, okay, now I asked you not to do that. So guess what? You mommy and daddy got to get up out of here now. Get your kid, take your kid home. You just going to throw us out? Yep, I sure am. Because you don't know how to fucking act and you didn't teach your child how to act either. So all y'all get the fuck out. And so that's, you know, that just be that. And I don't care if they're insulted. What I care about is my stuff that I worked hard for, the time I put in to decorate, the presents that I wrapped, the people who will be impacted by the fact that their parents' presents got destroyed by your child, which you know you're not going to reimburse me for. So, you know, you have to think about stuff like that, the big picture. And all that baby proofing and all that shit, just tell that brat to stay at home. The parents, if they can't get a babysitter, then they have to stay home with her. That's it. No kids. And if they say, well, you hate our kid, yeah, you know, you're probably right because of the history of her destroying stuff in my house. Maybe that's true. I didn't really think of it that way, but you're probably right. And then what they going to say? Well, we're so insulted. We're never coming back. And you'd be like, thank you, Jesus. That's exactly what I wanted to have happen. I don't know, people don't add, you know, on this channel, I have a video about how it's basically directed towards single women, though, how you have badass kids, how they will keep you from getting in any kind of serious relationship because men don't want to be bothered with your badass kids. Vice versa, too. Men who have spoiled their kids, you got a woman coming in and she got an idea of how children are supposed to act, and your kids are wild heathens. That's not going to work. It causes too much conflict. So it's something, you know, as a single parent, you need, or even couples like this, you need to think about it, how limiting it's going to be when you try to go places and people cannot stand how your child behaves. You don't put any boundaries on your kid. You never tell it no. It never has any punishments. You never tell it to sit his little butt down and be quiet. And, you know, I mean, stuff like that. People don't put any limits on their children anymore. So the children just run wild. And I just refuse to be dealing with people that have kids that act like that. I'm just not going to do it. When my daughter was little, she was so well behaved. People would call me and ask me to bring her so they could babysit her because they enjoyed her so much. She was funny little girl. And just all, you know, all very inquisitive, fun, and like to play with people and talk to people and stuff. People would want to babysit our kid. But that's the difference. We didn't have to be really, you know, we just started talking about someplace we want to go. And 3 or 4 people say, oh, I'll watch her. I'll bring her over here. You know, my little daughter loved to play with her. You know, this and that, and blah, blah, blah. I'll take them to the zoo. I'll do. And so it's a different experience when you have a child that's well behaved and that's, you know, pleasant. And people like to be around your child. Somebody like this, that kid could never come to my house, ever. Never, ever, ever. Question number 10. This is a female in the 28 to 34 age group, African American, from Richmond, Virginia. Summary of issue. How do I break up with my boyfriend of 7 years? Oh, wow. That's a long time. Hey, Deb, I have been in a relationship for just over 7 years. We met at the restaurant he worked at and have been together ever since. We are now 28, me, and 42, him. Oh my God, he's old. I had not dated anyone before, and everyone in my life was very excited and happy for me. He has always been kind and considerate, open, all the good things. Him and I have been through a lot together. I am appreciative of this, and I don't take it for granted. The problem is, I feel like I have done myself a disservice by staying with him. I support us financially. Oh, no, you don't. While he goes back to school, I want to leave and move so bad, but I don't want to take him with me. I have wanted out for a long time, but I don't know how to do it. There's nothing wrong. I'm just not happy. He has no living family and we live together. I don't want anything bad to happen, but the thought of him being homeless while I keep going forward makes my heart ache. I know I can't stay in the relationship, but I've never broken up with anyone and feel like I'm in too deep. No one in my life understands my desire to leave. How to honestly tell someone I care about that I no longer want to be with them? Thank you so much. I don't have anyone to talk to about this, so I appreciate any answers you and the squad give me. The first thing for you to do is tell him, I don't want to support you anymore. You need to get a job. How are you going to be at less than 30 taking care of a 42-year-old middle-aged man? Where they do that at? How did you get talked into this bullshit? Man, if I was your mother, I would be over there kicking your ass and his too. You gonna tell him the gravy train is coming to an end and you're not gonna be supporting him anymore. He needs to get a job. He needs to get one right away. He has experience being a waiter or whatever. I don't know. He can do something, but that's not your problem. And the fact that he's gonna be homeless, I'm sure he has friends. He might not have family, but he has friends. He has ex-coworkers, and he can go to the homeless shelter and live there. He can talk to his boss at his new job he's gonna have and see if they have a room in the back where he can sleep. He can sleep in his fucking car like everybody else who's homeless. There's no reason for you to worry about him. He's a grown ass man. He'll find some other dumb woman to take care of him real quick, watch, and move in with her. So you give him, I don't know, say till the end of the year to find a job and get ready to tell him you're gonna move out and you guys you want to go your own way. But you need him to get a job and tell him if you don't have one by the end of the year, it's going to be too bad because I'm putting in to cancel the lease and I'm going to be moving. Whether you can take the lease over if you want to sign a new lease, but this lease will be ending. I've already put in the notice and the 30-day notice, and that's it. I'm not paying here anymore. And then you're going to find yourself a place and then you move. Could do it while he's at school and then leave him a note saying you can be in here till December 31st and then the lease is canceled. You got to find some place to live and you need a job. You do it that way too. That's my own personal favorite. I like to do it that way because I don't want to be bothered with all that conversation and tears and begging and whining and pleading and like, oh, baby, I'll fix it. I'll try better. I'll change. I don't want to hear all that. I don't want to hear all that. I just want you up the fuck up out of my face. That's what I want. So you think about which way is going to work best for you. I think the cold turkey, you just move out while he's at school and let him figure it out when he gets back is the best approach for you because you too soft-hearted. Trying to support him. Just leave the refrigerator full of food and put the lights and stuff. Tell him what day to turn it off, what day to turn off the water, God, whatever services, internet, everything that's in your name. Tell him what day to turn it off. Password protected so he can't go there and try to extend it. Make a new password that he does not know. You could use my name, for example. That might work. Or the name of this channel. He'll never figure that out as your new secret code password, right? And then, so even if he does call and try to get it, continued a longer stay, they'll say, well, do you have the password? And he'll say no. And they'll say, well, this is going to be cut off on December 31st, sir. Thank you very much for calling. Hey, I'm glad we could be of service. And that's going to be the end of that. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. That's what I would do because I don't care about you. He's too old. How you going to be supporting somebody and you 28 years old and he's 42? Going to school, his ass should have been to school when he was in his teens and early 20s, not in his 40s. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Ooh, I wish I had some wine right about now. That would be so handy. Question number 11. This is a male in the 22 to 27 age group. He's Caucasian from Southern California. That's all it says, Southern California. Summary of issue. Why do I seemingly suck at connecting with women? Most young women I meet seem interested, but then they become uninterested. I'm a 26-year-old resident of a major city, and I find I struggle at connecting with most women I meet in social settings. I have a number of close female friends, and on numerous occasions, they've introduced me to their single friends. I try my best to be charming and personable, but it just never goes anywhere. I feel like they always actively keep me at arm's length or are put off by something about my demeanor or affect or personality. I think I'm generally polite and my hygiene is good, outside of maybe using too much cologne. Ha ha ha. I used to think better than eau de funk, I'll tell you that. I used to think this was because I was unattractive and most women simply weren't interested in connecting with unattractive men. I still believe the second part of this to be true. But in recent years, I've come to realize that I'm not unattractive. Oh, this is very interesting. This is different. I've actually noticed that I receive more attention from women I haven't previously spoken to, which wouldn't be the case if I were ugly, right? I also live in a city with a large gay community, no issues with that here. And I get hit on by gay men fairly regularly. Okay, this is kind of, then he makes this line, I appreciate it. It's actually super flattering. Dude, no, wrong. As a frame of reference, I'm 6 feet, very dark brown hair, almost black, blue eyes, about 165 pounds. Often told I look like a tall Daniel Radcliffe. I'm also an obsessive, okay, Daniel Radcliffe. Wasn't that the Harry Potter kid? I'm also an obsessive weightlifter with a 6-day-a-week workout program, and I built my diet and sleep schedule around that. I have a pretty prestigious job in finance and have an apartment with no roommates in one of the nice high rises in the city. On paper, I think I'd be appealing to most of these women my age, or at least appealing enough to give me the time of day and see where it goes. However, I also feel like they've been put off a bit when I talk about my work life or my personal ambitions. I don't bring up anything to brag. It usually comes up with the what do you do for work question, which is a common default topic for someone you're just starting to talk to. I dedicate a lot of time and mental energy to my job, so it's usually on my mind, and my performance is something I'm heavily invested in. I'd have thought my passion would be something that's appealing or at least not an overt turnoff, but I feel like they possibly start to see me as some soulless corporate climber when I express my attitude towards advancement. It's passion only in a positive thing when it's dedicated to painting or surfing or some other activity that you can't monetize. I don't think I'm too intense, but I have been told I have a strong personality. I also don't think, hopefully, I come off as a materialistic douche. I'm actually very passionate about music, particularly vinyl. I have a huge collection of 60s to 80s albums. Oh, girl, dude, you got the bomb music then. And I've probably spent more on my stereo setup than on anything else I own. I also really enjoy old films, particularly classic from the 50s to 70s, and crime films from the 90s, and fine dining. I've been to 6 Michelin star restaurants to date, hoping to go to more. I think I'm well traveled and well read. I read at least a book a month. Does anything about this sound undateable? I'm not racist or sexist or homophobic, and I've had no major problems making strictly platonic female friends. I just don't know what to do, and I'm tired of being lonely. Oh, you know what came to mind as I was reading this? This is, oh, hey, cutie Tay. Thank you. What came to mind is that they don't have the confidence to deal with a man like you, bottom line. You got to remember, dude, I mean, I don't know how much time you spent listening to me talk about these women or talk to them, but 99% of women have self-esteem that's in the toilet. They look for a man to make them feel good about themselves with flattery, telling him he loves them, telling him they're beautiful. I mean, they actually write letters here to complain about boyfriends who don't do that or don't do it enough and how it makes them feel, like they're nothing. And it's just shocking to me, the low self-esteem that these girls have. They stay in stupid relationships with men who abuse them and mistreat them. And then they're always begging for validation. So, I mean, they get gamed on a lot because the players know that and they use it against them. I mean, I do everything I can to teach them not to, but can't reach everybody. So I'm suspicious that what you're doing is running into women like that. They're hearing about how accomplished you are, what you own, what you do, where you've been. Your body is probably on hook, and you nice looking face, and you're tall and all this stuff. And they're sitting there feeling intimidated. They're feeling like, oh my God, this guy's got it going on. Why would he like me? That's, I think, is anyway. As I read your letter, that's what came to me. Like that's what and I go by vibes a lot about when I read these letters, the energy that I get. And that's the energy that I'm getting, that they feel intimidated by you. They feel like you don't need them. They feel like they don't measure up, that you're too good, and that they wouldn't, even if they did get with you, that they wouldn't be able to, quote, keep you because you're just on a different level. My suggestion for you, date older women. Let me see. How old did you say you were? Child, you wrote a damn novel. You wrote a lot. Okay, yeah. So you're the 22. Okay, you're 26. You're only 26 years old, and you got all that going on, and you trying to date these little silly girls, and probably 24, 25 years old. It's never gonna work. Get you somebody about 30 who's got her shit together, and you will be so happy. It's not gonna work when you're looking at younger women, younger than you. If they're not where you are career-wise and financially and socially and in the looks department, they're going to feel intimidated. Like there's no way that they could be in a relationship with you because they would either be too jealous or they'd be too insecure and silly. Either way, it's not going to work. And I think that would be your what you need to do. Look for women who are a few years older, a little more stable, and you will find somebody who's on a par with you, and it'll be all good. Okay. Your letter is very well written. There's a lot of clarity. So you're an excellent communicator. You've done some introspective work. You know yourself. You know what you're looking for. You're able to share all of that information very clearly. I mean, not succinctly, but it was clear at least. So I'm thinking that is the solution for you. Okay. So I start looking at women 30 and above. And I'm not saying you got to marry them or anything like that right away anyway. But I think that answer to your being lonely is to find somebody, who's a little more mature, a little more stable, a little more emotionally intelligent, and I think you'll do well. Let's move on now. Question number 12. Question number 12 is a female, 22 to 27. She's Latina from San Antonio, Texas. She says, summary of issue, I'm 32 weeks pregnant, and my boyfriend won't tell his dad. I'm 32 weeks pregnant, 8 months, and my boyfriend and I are together. Okay, we're both 20. You're only 20 years old. Oh, so you're not in the 22 to 27 age group. You're in the 18 to 21 age group. You clicked the wrong box. I know his mom's side of the family, but his dad has no idea that I exist, let alone that I'm pregnant. I've asked him to tell his dad for months, and he won't do it. He keeps on saying that he'll tell him, give him me a day, he will, but then he never does it. So I find it disrespectful as a poor man doesn't know he has a grandchild on the way. And I feel like he might end up resenting me or the baby. I don't have a relationship with my father, and I really want our baby to have a grandfather present in his life. But it takes time for him now to digest the fact that the baby's so close and he doesn't even know me. So today was one of those days he told me that he would tell him. So I asked, and he said it wasn't the right time. I said to him, it's never the right time to tell your parent you're having an unplanned baby, but I still have to do it. I got shouted at, and now my mom can't wait for her grandson. She's literally over the moon. So I got annoyed, and I said that I will do it. And my boyfriend started shouting, I will literally hate you forever if you do that, and you're not coming back from that one. I will never talk to you again. How dare you threaten to tell my dad? That's my dad, not your dad. So I said, try to calm down and talk to me. And he hung up, then texted me to say, leave me alone with your dumbness. Don't call my phone. He got really angry at me. I never heard him like that before. I know it's not my place to tell him, but I'm getting fed up. I don't know what to do. You need to sit your ass down and grow your baby. Who knows about your pregnancy is irrelevant. The people who need to know is you and the baby's daddy. Okay, that's it. Everybody else is extra. I don't understand all this energy you putting into wanting this acknowledgement by this man and talking about he's gonna be mad and all this other shit. Who gives a shit if he's mad? He's gonna be mad at his son, not you. Why are you all in his mix like that? You're doing too much. You need to sit your ass down and to threaten to tell him. Well, I'll tell him then. That was really over the top and inappropriate. That's his father. He's probably most likely his father's gonna kick his ass. That's why he's putting off telling him he's going to get a talking to out of daddy might tell him you need to, get married or something. There's a reason why he's not telling him and he's stalling that's not your problem. You know why it's not your problem? Because you didn't meet the man before you got yourself pregnant, right? It wasn't important to meet him then. It wasn't important for him to know nothing then. So why is it important now? See, you're doing shit out of order. And you're only 20 years old. What you doing having a baby instead of strapping yourself like that? Don't you have shit else to do with your life other than grow kids? I don't understand you young women. Man, that's when you're supposed to be kicking up your heels and just kicking up dust and just going ripping and running and having yourself a good old time. Not being somebody's mama. Ooh, Lord, I don't understand. But yet, leave this alone. Leave this alone. Don't say nothing else to him about his father. If his father finds out when the kid is 12, that's fine. You feel me? It's not your concern. It's not your fight. It's nothing to do with you. Most likely the daddy, somebody in his family is going to tell him. So you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to get involved in all this. Question number 13. This is a male in the 18 to 21 age group. He's Caucasian from Las Vegas, Nevada. Summary of issue, the what are we, quote, talk. I've been seeing this girl for like a month. We hang out all the time and we have everything in common. She's someone I've been searching for a long, long time. And you're only 18 to 21? What is this? All these people sound like they so old. My question is, when are we considered dating? And is it my responsibility as a guy to put that label on it? It's been a minute since I was in a long-term relationship. Yes. I mean, ideally, yes. So what you would do, this is how you do it. You say, hey, I don't know, Barbie, I am really, really feeling you and would like to, solid up this situation we got here. I want you to be my girlfriend. So how are you feeling about that? And she's going to say either yes or no. And if she says no, then you say, well, why not? And don't get mad. Just ask her why not. She might say, well, I wanted a little extra time. It seemed a little soon. And you say, okay, well, we'll circle back to this in about a month or so and see where we stand. Okay, you let it go. But she might just be feeling just as much as you, and she want to lock that down too, so y'all could be in a committed relationship. That means a lot to women. And then you start say, okay, and then you start announcing people and tell them you have a girlfriend now, and you change your status on social media to in a relationship, and then you get her some kind of little Mickey Mouse ring, or you can get a couple's ring, or you get her a little necklace or something to show everybody that that's your girl, and you guys get matching t-shirts or matching sweatshirts or matching knitted caps. I mean, whatever, little couples do at your age, and then y'all going around holding hands and letting everybody know that you're a couple. It's not that hard. But she's not going to assume that you are her man unless you say that you are her man. The women who do that make a great error in judgment and be sitting up there like pregnant or trying to, introduce them to somebody. And the dude's like, oh, we're not in a relationship. I don't know what you're talking about. That's why it has to come from you, and it has to be a definitive statement. Okay? So handle that. Question number 14, female, 22 to 27. She's African-American from Atlanta, Georgia. Oh, boy, here we go. Summary of issue. How do you as a woman meet people at a bar? I am a 26-year-old female. For years, I only focused on college, work, and family obligations. I am very short and look like a teenager for my age, so I get self-conscious when I'm around people my own age. Was she like a Simone Biles type of person? I do not have very many friends, and none of them really, quote, go out. But I want to go out more. I want a social life. I'm tired of being at home every single weekend. I'm tired of the dating apps too. I want to meet a guy out in the wild. Yeah. So this coming weekend, I plan on going out to a bar alone. My question is, how do I not look weird? Being at a bar by myself, sitting by myself, do I approach someone? What do you do at a bar anyway? One of the bars I was thinking about going to has good food and is doing a fundraiser on Saturday night. So the fundraiser can work in my favor, right? What do I do to not look stupid being there? Well, as one who ripped and ran in nightclubs all over the country, and most of the time I was by myself, what I would do, I like to go to happy hours. Happy hours better than going, because there's people, like especially on Thursday and Friday, people from work. So it's gonna be kind of a different crowd than say if you go on a Saturday night, or you go like in some hood bar or something like that. The fact that you're so tiny is a concern also. Can you fight? Do you have bear spray, pepper spray, a stung? I mean, what you got to protect yourself? Make sure before you set foot up in anybody's bar, you have some backup. Okay, don't just go up there willy-nilly. It's not as easy and picnicky as you like to think. When you go in there, if you have a drink and you get up, like you're gonna dance or go to the bathroom or something, that drink is dead to you. When you come back, you push it to the counter and you tell bartender to give me a fresh drink in a new glass. Okay, don't ever come back after you left the drink sitting and drink the drink. That's stupid. Okay, that's so risky, it's ridiculous. Likewise, if you have any food and you get up, you leave it. Preferably, you eat your food before you get up. That's what I do. I just be chugging into my mouth and looking like a chipmunk cheeks, but I'm not wasting my money, but neither am I leaving my plate there so somebody could sprinkle something in my food. I'm not doing that. What you have to do also is make a plan. How you going to get there and how you going to leave. You're going to be drinking. You have to know your limit. So you know how much you can drink before it's time for you to go. Okay. Once you hit that limit, like say if you got a 2 drink limit, mine's about 4. But you get about, say you got a 2 drink limit. That's when you call your Uber, your taxi, your Lyft, whatever you're going to be getting into, and you carry your little ass home. What you don't want to do is be hanging around there so all them dudes will see you by yourself and you lingering and letting them buy you drinks and, talk to you and all stuff, and you feel stuck. You can't get away from them because then they be like, well, what you doing after this? You want to come to my place or can I come to your house? And it just becomes a big thing. So what I would like to, when I used to go out by myself, I would kind of club hop. I didn't stay at any one place too long. I'd have a drink at one place and then I go to the next place and go to the next. So then by the time they really noticed that I was there by myself, I was gone. I might dance a time or two, something like that if they had music, but I'm not going to be there all night. You're not going to be all up in my face. Like by my time, I didn't roll like that. The other thing, look in the chat stream too. I'm sure a lot of the ladies here are, old veterans like me, and they can, give you some tips on how they handled themselves. But to me, those are the main things to do, to make sure that you handle yourself well. You don't want nobody touching you and grabbing you. And, so you don't you be afraid to be loud if they, start doing inappropriate things. Then you start cussing, yelling, screaming, fighting, whatever you need to do, and to make a scene. These days, if it's a scene made, people will film it so that there'll be evidence for the police. So think about that too. But I do like the idea of a fundraiser. Hopefully it's something like a casino night or something. Those are fun. Some auction where you can walk around, crab feed, something like that, where you have something to do and you'll be at a table with other people that you can talk to. Yeah. But happy hour, I like that better. So think about that for your first time. This fundraiser sounds good, but I don't know. You didn't give any details about what it is or how long it's going to last, when it starts. You didn't give any information. So I think like for your very first foray out by yourself, go to do a happy hour and go to a restaurant bar. So like there's a restaurant and they have a bar in the restaurant, go there. So it's like there'll be families, there'll be singles, there'll be working people, there'll be all kind of stuff there. And it's just a different environment. That's a better thing for you to try. Okay. And report back. Let me know how it works for you. And move on to question number 15. We got 25 questions today. Male in the 22 to 27 age group. He's African American from Memphis, Tennessee. Summary of issue. My girlfriend said that we are just friends after I said that we should split the bill. Oh, yeah, well. Me, I'm 22 and my girlfriend, 23, have been together for 2 years now. We recently have been going through a rough patch in terms of deciding the future of our relationship and what we are happy with. My girlfriend needed some time to herself to wrap up her studies, and I took this time to work on myself more. After not seeing each other for a few weeks, we met up today and went out for dinner. It was good, and we were making conversation as usual. The restaurant was busy and loud, so we couldn't really talk about deep topics that we both needed to get off our chest. Nevertheless, it was good until our bill came. My girlfriend has always been someone to want to split the bill, and even though I have paid a lot for her in the past, she always suggests that we should split. We have split the bills before and it was never a problem, but tonight she wasn't having it. When the bill arrived, I told her she can just pay me back because I was paying with a card payment. Most of the time, I refuse her paying me back anyway. I then told her that she can just pay for the gratuity, which really wasn't that much, and she had the cash on her. She then passed a comment saying that we must just be friends then because on a date, I should be paying for either the full amount or just my amount and the tip, especially considering the fact that I'm working and she is not. I was taken aback by this and reminded her of what she had said in the past about splitting the bill. She wasn't having it and said that I don't know how to treat a woman or do things during a date like a boyfriend would. This pissed me off, but I do feel a bit of an ass for saying that she has to pay. At this point, are we just friends and am I wrong for expecting her to pay for both the gratuity and her own order? I'm going to say this. Okay, you stupid. You had a girlfriend, y'all was going through some things, right? You're going through some things, and she said she needed some time away, and you haven't seen her for weeks. And that's how you come at her? You didn't bring her no flowers. You didn't tell her how you missed her. You didn't be the magnanimous gentleman to treat the lady and show her a good time and show her how she's precious and important to you. That didn't cross your mind. Knowing that she's not working, where's she supposed to get this half from? You know, when people don't have a job and they're trying to exist on like unemployment or, you know, workers' comp or some disability, little Mickey Mouse check or something like that, their money is tight. They can barely make ends meet as far as survival things like rent and food and keeping the lights on. It's a struggle. But your ass didn't think about nothing like that. You just thought about, well, you said that before from when you was working and had money and stuff. And so I'm apply it to this situation right here too. So I'm in essence, dude, you're not even friends with her no more. She's through with you. Your relationship is over. And you killed it with your stupid ass. I don't even understand what you were thinking to think that that was the move to make. Especially the way that you said it and the way you came off. I mean, just the way you wrote it here is just like such an asshole. Just an asshole. You don't deserve a girlfriend. So I hope she sticks to her guns and lets that couple of weeks where she didn't see you go on and expand it to a couple of months and then move on to somebody who knows how to treat her. Because you obviously don't. She's right. You don't. That was your opportunity to swoop in there and be Mr. Romantic, Mr. Bombastic. Sweep her off her feet. Let her see what she was missing. Let her know how much you care, how much you love her, how you want you guys to be together. All that kind of stuff. That was what you were supposed to be doing under the circumstances. But you fell flat on your face and just fucked up everything because you dumb. So this is over. This is over, and just go on and move to somebody else and then understand what you need to do if you're going to be somebody's man. You don't talk to them like that. And you know your woman don't have no money, but you want to be taking her out someplace. Understand that that's on your dime. It was just so unbelievably rude and just callous and just stupid for you to start demanding that she pay something, knowing that she's not working right now. I mean, this guy is just stupid. Dude, I'm going to move on because I can't call you stupid enough times. I could use the whole rest of the 2-hour time just saying stupid man over and over. Question number 16, female, 28 to 34. She's African American from Riverside, California. Summary of issue. I'm wondering if a guy I've been seeing is a street corner pharmacist. Oh. The fact that you think it is most likely true. Okay. From Riverside, California. Yeah, buddy. I've been seeing a new guy about 4 times at this point. I have a sneaking suspicion that he might be a dealer. He has a regular job as well, but the way he lives just doesn't add up. He has a huge apartment with a balcony on a high floor, an unobstructed view. He drives a very expensive car, and he takes me on some pretty expensive dates. So he must not live in Riverside. I mean, where does he live? You live in Riverside. Okay. He works in real estate, and I know you can make a pretty penny selling real estate, but I don't think he's on that level. The other reason I suspect he's a dealer is because he does see quite often. And that's a very expensive habit. I just know he suffers from bad anxiety, probably from all the C use. And sometimes when I ask him questions about his substance use, he gets all anxiety ridden. Deb, I'm keeping this casual because I wouldn't get involved with someone in the long term who uses stuff like that. He is aware that I have an issue with him doing C, so he doesn't do it when he's with me. But I'm just starting to think that there's too much going on with this guy, even for something casual. I know I should just ask him, as he's been very honest with me, but I was just wondering if he sounds like someone who deals, or if there are any other signs to look for. I don't know. I don't affiliate with dealers. So you asking me how to determine if I don't see, to me, the fact that you have all this stuff going on, the fact that he uses at all, because, you know, I mean, he might be riding high and successful now, but that usage tends to rise up incrementally. So they're spending more and more money, and then they're staying up all night. They can't do their job. They get fired. They lose everything. I mean, this is the story of so many people who got involved with that stuff. So while you're sitting there, you know, having these suspicions and kind of with all these conclusions that tell you that this is not the right kind of dude for you to be affiliated with, and then you writing to me and asking questions like this shows that you're dumb. You're being dumb and you're being desperate. Get the fuck away from this man. Get the fuck away from this man. He's not good for you. He's not even good for himself. Stop it. Ooh, Lord have mercy. Well, you know, they tend to, once they get through using all their money, then they start in on yours. You know, they sold all their stuff, so then they start selling yours. They done, you know, stolen everything they can get to get their hands on from everybody else. So then here they come and get stealing yours. I don't affiliate with users of them substances like that. I've just seen too many people go downhill. I mean, from having wonderful jobs and careers and just at the top of their game to being at the bottom and living in a park bench on a park or somewhere out in Golden Gate Park, just looking homeless. Well, I mean, they are homeless and just being a bum because they put everything up their nose that any value. So I don't understand what it is that you're doing here, young lady. I don't understand it. You can't be that desperate for a man. As soon as he told me he did something, I'd be like, boop, I'm out. Okay, question 17, female, 28 to 34. She's Caucasian from Liverpool, England. Summary of issue: should bad kissing be a good reason to not date someone? Absolutely. But let's see what she says. It feels so shallow to ask this question, but I have known this man for 2 years. We met online with the intent to be FWBs. He's about 5 hours round trip away. Due to COVID and his family, we've only met up in real life 6 times. We get on really well, text a lot most days, lots of things in common, and we can talk for hours. But he just cannot kiss. It's awful. He's told me many times that he loves the way I kiss, and my gentle guidance telling him what I like in regards to this falls on deaf ears. Due to a change in his circumstances, he's made it clear that he would like a relationship with me now. He ticks every one of my boxes, but I can't get past the awful kissing. Seems a rubbish reason to not try and have a decent relationship with a good and honest man. Should the pros win over the cons here? Or should I just go with my gut that says I don't want to commit to such a bad kisser? You in the 28 to 34 age group. Well, I mean, if you were like, 65 to 70 or something, I would say, yeah, go, don't even worry about it. Because, you're not going to kiss because you're also dry. You start rubbing your lips together, somebody might catch fire and shit. But this is, you guys are still young. So what you want to do is just tell him that that's an important part of the romantic buildup, to the anticipation, to the passion. And it's just the way he kisses, just not doing it for you. I had a guy like that. Man, this dude, I don't know his kid. Okay, I'm going to demonstrate because it was just so foul. Okay, that's the good thing about being on camera because you can show people stuff. Now, what I'm about to show you is utterly gross and disgusting. So if you're a sensitive type, just cover your eyes for a minute. So he goes in for the kiss, right? I mean, nice guy. We know, great conversation, just like this. Decent looking. I mean, made great money. He was a tech writer. Making all kinds of, right here in Silicon Valley, he's making Grand Theft money. So he's writing all stuff and, smart guy. I mean, all the stuff I like. Okay. Nice height, nice body, all that. So then comes the kiss. And this was going to be our first kiss. And it was our last. After, I don't know, going out with him, I don't know, a few weeks. But I, held off on all of that intimacy stuff. Dude, okay, this is it. Okay, here's me just, looking regular. And this was him with his mouth wide open like that. I'm not exaggerating. His mouth was wide open, so it was like all around my face, like here. And then he took his tongue, and this is a true story. Why is my life like this? And so he's got his mouth wide open like a frog. And I see everybody over here laughing. His mouth was wide open, and his tongue was going around in a circle like a washing machine on a spin cycle. That's how he was kissing me. My whole face, was wet. That was hands down the worst kiss I've ever had in my entire life. The absolute number one ranked worst. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, where they do this at? And I was so shocked. I was like, I just pushed him off of me. And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, well, I thought this, I said, no, we can't do this. We can't do this. I was so turned off. I never went out with him again. I just cut off communication with him because I knew by, more time spent with him, he was going to be anticipating, some action jumping off. And I already knew if you can't kiss, that means you can't fuck. And either way, there's no sensuality to it, no sense of connectedness to his body or mine. I mean, it was just the worst experience of my life. I mean, so many horrible things ran through my mind. I was just horrified. It was horrible. It was absolutely, shut up, Canadian brother. You better not kiss nobody like that, or I'll go to Canada and talk about your ass face to face. You been there? Oh my God. It was unbelievable. So I don't know, and this is a true story. I have a lot of my life. It's just like a comedy show, but this is real. And I just was horrified. I still remember that shit. That was so many years ago. It was horrifying. So, honey, anyway, long story short, girlfriend, if it's anything like that, get away from him as quickly as possible because it's going to just destroy you. Any concept you have of romance and sensuality, it's just going to destroy it. You never had a bad kisser? Well, I hadn't either. Before that, I mean, I had some that could, they needed a little practice because I guess, people have different styles, whatever. So they have to kind of figure out yours, but it wasn't like horrible, but it wasn't like the best. It took them, a minute to figure out what to do. But this hands down, there's no coming back from that shit. The washing machine kiss, the spin cycle kiss. It was awful. I just couldn't. So anyway, yeah, that's what I suggested you. There's no chance there, honey. Female, okay, question 18, female 18 to 21. She's African, well, she's Black, from Manchester in the UK. Summary of issue. My best friend and I are growing apart now that she has a boyfriend. So we're both 20 and have been best friends for at least 4 years now. Friends for even longer. She has been dating this guy for a while, and recently they have become official. This is her first boyfriend, so I've never experienced this side of her being in a relationship and being in love. When they first started dating, I was excited to hear her talk about him, but now it is just too much. Deb is so crazy that over 90% of our conversations now revolve around him and their relationship. She used to video call me all the time, but now she barely even texts me. And when she does, she sends me screenshots of arguments they have, as well as anything he says that she thinks is really funny. It almost never is funny, but I reply with ha ha every time just because I don't want to be rude. Whenever I see her, which these days isn't a lot because she hangs out only with him every day, she goes on and on about him. I'm happy for her. Oh my God, this sounds a little boring. I'm happy for her that she found someone that is in love, but I don't know what to do now because I don't want to come off as jealous or bitter. I'm debating if I should tell her or just maybe just wait for this phase or her being obsessed with him is what I mean to be over. I'm over here thinking so much about what to do, and I have realized that our friendship is probably the last thing on her mind right now. Oh, that's it. Well, you know what you're gonna have to do is say, look, Susie, Susie, do you realize that since you started dating Jeffy, that that's the only thing that you talk about with me? That you don't really have any conversation about us and friendships or girl things. Everything that you talk to me about is talking about Jeffy. And I need to tell you something. I don't give a shit about Jeffy. I mean, I'm happy that you found somebody in love and stuff, but I don't want to be a part of your relationship like that. I don't need to know everything he says to you, all y'all's arguments and all y'all's jokes and stuff. That's between the two of you. Please leave me out of it. And I would request if you don't have anything to talk to me about that is non-Jeffy related, then let's not talk anymore because I can't do this. I'm like, I had to do that with one of my friends. Well, we were kind of friends with this wild boyfriend that she had. She wanted to talk about him, but she never wanted to get rid of him or do anything. You know, she would be in my ear talking about this clown all the time. And now he's taking her money. And I mean, he was just trash. So I'm like, why you do with this trash dude? You know, I'm thinking, what you doing? But she want to stay with the trashy dude. And even after they allegedly broke up, she's still dealing with him, you know, still involved with him. And then she doesn't want to tell me about it all the time. So finally I told her, look, if you're going to talk about him, we can't talk. Don't call. If you talk about something else, we can have a conversation. But if that's all you want to talk about, I don't want to talk about that. So I guess we won't talk. And so you know what? I think we talked twice after that. And she was struggling to have something to talk about. Whereas me, you know, I could talk about everything. But she was struggling. And so we haven't talked now. It's been a couple of years. And that's how it goes sometimes. So you have to put up your boundaries, you know, because it was working my nerves to hear about this clown all the time and just see how stupid she was being about him. You know what I mean? I care about my friends. I want them to be you know, loved and taken care of and supported and respected and stuff like that. But if you see that they're not treating themselves with that kind of consideration, then there's nothing for me to do here. You know, you have to respect yourself. And she didn't. And so that was the end of that. It was just, you know, unbelievable. So that's, you know, you could somehow, I don't know, you know, how you guys communicate, but you're going to have to send her that in a text or a phone call or whatever, however y'all do it so that she understands. And then make sure she understands, you know, if you guys break up, don't think that our friendship can return to the way that it was because it's been forever changed. You need to let her know that you see how she is. She puts, you know, a man in front of someone who's been her friend for years. And he's only been on the scene for a few weeks. That's bad decision making. Question number 19, female in the 22 to 27 age range. She's Black from Indianapolis, Indiana. Summary of issue. My boyfriend doesn't help around the house, and I'm thinking of breaking up with him. You think? Me and my boyfriend have been together for 4 years and living together for about 2. He's 28 and I'm 25. He is far messier than I am, so I've always naturally ended up doing more, but recently, the last 6 months, he has gotten way lazier when it comes to helping around the house. About 6 months ago, I offered to completely take over the cooking and shopping if he paid for the groceries, which he agreed to do. I noticed After this, he wouldn't help at all with the dishes. So I said to him that I'd take over doing the dishes officially if he did all the laundry, which was fine at first, but now he hasn't done any washing in about a month. I do the vacuuming, cleaning the bathroom, just basically everything. I've tried talking to him about it, and it gets a little bit better for a day and goes straight back to how it was before. He doesn't handle confrontation well, so I'm struggling to find the best way to approach him. I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life, and I want to be with someone that I could settle down with. So it's getting to the point where I'm thinking of ending things. I love him a lot. Everything else in our relationship is fantastic. But what can I say to him that he doesn't come across as accusatory? Is there hope here, or should I cut my losses? Nope, you cut your losses. You've been dealing with this for 2 years. But he's getting worse, right? He's not getting better. It didn't stay the same. It got worse. You asked for these things, and then he's just not doing it. So I'm not sure what it is you think I'm going to do or what kind of response I can provide you, the information that you already have. You can see he's a bum. He's a lazy, shiftless piece of shit. He just wants you to be running around like you're his mommy. So what you're going to have to do is say, look, we've been living here for 2 years and I've noticed, and this is not a conversation. This is going to be your parting statement, and say, I'm done. I'm fed up. I can't do this anymore. I feel like I'm a maid. I feel like I'm your mother. You want your mommy that you can sleep with, and I'm disgusted by it. How do you think that you as an adult, you can live in his house and that I'm going to be running around taking care of you like I'm your mother and you're 5? It's disgusting. It's a turnoff, and I don't want to do it. I want a man who understands he has to carry his weight, and I don't have to renege him and remind him all the time like he's a kid. So this is over because I don't see any future here because this is how you are, and I don't want to be bothered with it. It's just too much. It's too much. And so I will be moving out at such and such a date, and I wish you the best, alhamdulillah. And then, of course, you're going to say, I'll change, baby, please, baby, please. Say, no, because we already had this conversation several times, and you promised to change, and then you go right back to doing what you want. So, the pattern is set. You don't really mean it. You just want to say it to keep me here, and I'm telling you that train has pulled to the station, and I'm getting off. And that's how you're going to be with them, and say it and mean it. Otherwise, you're right. This will be your life, being married to this man. And honey, don't have kids. And then watch what your workload is going to quadruple. And he's going to still be doing nothing. This is not a prospect for a long-term relationship like marriage and husband and a father. He's not that. They have to understand their responsibilities to the household. It's not your job to do everything. Especially, the women these days work a full-time job just like the men do. And then they had the nerve to be talking about, well, that's a woman's work. No, motherfucker, well, then you get out there and you make all the money. That's man's work. How you going to pull that off with your $17 an hour job? How's that going to work for you? You need somebody to help you pay the bills because you ain't balling like that because you want to be talking about with some traditional woman. You ain't a traditional man, so shut the fuck up. Traditional men take care of their households all by themselves, and the woman sits at home and does house stuff and kid stuff and volunteer stuff and stuff at the kids' school stuff. She ain't slaving over, making a straight 8 and commuting and all of that stuff. So you all want these women to do all that stuff to, quote, help you. Well, then that means you're going to have to help her too. So that everything gets split. The financial load gets split as well as the household load gets split. And you need to do your half. That's just the way it is. If you don't want to do your half, then you need to be balling so that she's going to stay at home, then she'll do it. Because she don't have to work. But you want her to do 2 jobs while you just do 1. Fuck all that. These men are crazy. And then they wonder why women don't want to marry them. It's like, there's no benefit to marrying you. It's just extra burden and chores and just trauma and drama. There's no, because you already get dick. You don't need to be married to him to get that. And if you're not with him, you can get it from 3 or 4 different dudes, different flavor of the week. So that's nothing either. To be bothered with them and have to look at them and clean up after them and all that kind of stuff, that's no benefit. And they be holding out like, well, we don't want to get married. Fuck you. Keep your ring and shove it up your ass. How about you do that? Nobody's trying to be married these days. Women are smarter enough to know that is a joke, as evidenced by this kind of behavior. If she married him, this would be her life. Torture, exhaustion, being taken for granted, and just being mistreated. No woman of any sense wants that. And that's why so many women are staying single, because men are just, they don't even understand. You're not adding anything to her life acting like this. You're not a perk. You're not a benefit. You're nothing to strive for and achieve. So, they don't get it. They don't understand it. Oh, Lord have mercy. Question number 20, female 22 to 27. She's Latina from San Diego, California. Summary of issue. My boyfriend is insecure and needy. Can it work? I am Bolivian and my boyfriend is white. He adores me and I genuinely believe that he'd do anything for me, as he made me his number one priority above anything and everyone else in his life. But he is so needy and he is jealous over the slightest thing. Last night we went out with my friend and her partner for a meal. We'd all had a few drinks and we were kind of joking around and having banter. The subject somehow turned to body hair, and my friend was pointing out that her partner has lots of chest hair and that he shaves it. I said that there's no need to shave his chest and added that I like a man with chest hair. My boyfriend gave me dagger eyes and it caused a huge argument when we got back to my place. He was accusing me of fancying my friend's partner, which is not the case at all. My boyfriend has chest hair, so I don't see what the issue was. Other examples include him getting jealous of me speaking to other men at work and him asking whether they're hitting on me. He came to my house the other day and there was a bowl with 2 forks on the coffee table and he was questioning why there were 2 forks. I said, "You think that I had someone here, don't you?" He completely denied it, but I knew. I have a demanding job and a young child. He says he feels like a weekend boyfriend, but I can't do anything about that. It's such a shame because he can be so lovely and supportive, but I just feel like his behavior is too needy. Any advice? Time to break up. Time to break up. When they start acting like this, the next thing from all this jealous stuff, they start wanting to choke you, push you, twist your arm, hit you, get in your face, start throwing shit, punching walls. I mean, the behavior escalates. They start kind of stalking you. All kind of stuff starts going on because they're so jealous and insecure. These kind of men are dangerous. I wish you had written way before now, because soon as he started that shit is when you should have cut it off. For everyone else listening to this, that's what you do. You got a guy who shows you any signs of this kind of controlling, possessive behavior. I mean, the first time he does it, you don't wait for time through 3, 5, 12, and 87. The very first time he does it, you say, you know what? I can see that you on some bullshit and I'm not about that life. I'm not trying to be living that way. I don't deal with men who are controlling and possessive. I don't like jealousy and I'm not going to deal with it. So you hit the door. This is over. That's what you do. Before he even gets a foothold in your life, you get rid of him. You get rid of him. Too many of y'all see that as, oh, he really cares and, he loves me. That's why he's acting like that. No, he's acting like that because he's an asshole. This is a mistake, girl. And you got a young kid. You better get rid of this fool. He's already showing you how he is. The longer he's in a relationship with you, the more controlling he's going to get and the more possessive. He mad because you like chest hair and he has chest hair? Interesting. Question 21 of 25. We got 25 questions today. Female in the 28 to 34 age group. She's white from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Summary of issue. My boyfriend is stuck in, quote, joke responses, and I can't figure out how to best respond to him. My partner of 6 years, when we're both in our mid-30s, is currently responding to most of my serious conversations with what I see is stupid joke and off-topic responses, and it's making me crazy. This is somewhat recurring situation that oddly isn't always present, but seem to come and go. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what triggers it, but it's both incredibly annoying and makes me angry, and I don't want to talk to him anymore, and I can't figure out what the best way is to address it. In short, it's always a similar situation where I say something serious in a normal conversation, and he responds with a joke. To me, it completely breaks the flow and content of the conversation, and it also invalidates what I'm trying to say. A typical example from yesterday, we have a 2-year-old. who's entering the prime tantrum / anxiety, separation anxiety / terrible twos phase. And we talk frequently about how to best respond and parent and keep us all sane. I said something on lines of, quote, oh, and I was reading this thing on one of the parenting folks I follow on IG that said you really shouldn't X, but also not. And before I could finish, he interjected with spank them, and then he started to laugh. At which point the conversation is dead to me. I don't think it's funny. I don't appreciate my efforts having been minimized, and I don't want to tell him about the thing anymore because to me, he's clearly not interested in hearing it. When I do say something, he's very contrite and apologizes, but then he does, and then insists that he wants to hear what I'm saying. But then it starts all over again. Okay, so he has a good friend who's also like this. His parents don't have any at all sense of humor. They think laughing at our children's books in a different language or making fart jokes, his dad, is great. I, however, do not enjoy this, and it's not always an issue, but it's something that how he is. I also do have, I think, a good sense of humor, and I'm generally up for fun and silly conversation, just not like this when I'm trying to be serious. Okay. So then she asks, how do I make it clear that he can just be like this with others, but not with me? Or do I just come out and say that as a blanket statement? Do I bring it up each time it happens and hope it sticks? Or am I just a shrew with no sense of humor? No, because essentially what he's doing is derailing your conversation. He's shutting you down. It's called, in the world of narcissism, it's called stonewalling. So whether he, gets up and walks out the room or whether he cracks a joke, the end result is the same. You're shut down in all conversation, and a question asking or whatever it is you're doing comes to a screeching halt. So look up stonewalling and you'll see what I'm talking about. In this kid, I don't know how you stand it because you guys are in your mid-30s and he's still acting like, a 12-year-old. And I would tell him that when he would do stuff like that, I'd be like, why are you acting like you're 12? Do you know how stupid you sound right now? You're an adult and we're trying to have an adult conversation. And here you are making jokes like a 12-year-old. You're just so disgusting, so fucking immature. It just makes me sick that this is the man and the father of my child. You act like fucking more of a toddler than our 2-year-old. I would say stuff like that to him. I would be very rude. Say your parents are stupid and the apple don't fall too far from the tree. Stuff like that. And then if he didn't like it, I said, well, we could end this. You just pay your child support and get your visitation on and we can part ways because I'm tired of you. I'm tired of your shit. I'm tired of you not taking what I say seriously. I'm tired of the fact that we can't ever resolve any kind of conflicts in this relationship because you make a joke about everything. It's not funny. Keep your day job. Your ass, if you went on Comedy Central, would bomb. Okay? Because your ass is not funny. I'm still waiting to laugh from the jokes you told last week. And here you come with some more tired ones this week. I'm still not laughing. Stuff like that. I mean, I would just like blow his hair back and just be nasty and rude to him. And a lot of people are like, well, you shouldn't be like that with your partner. Why not? He's like that with her. He started it. And I'm a firm believer, like I say, I fight fire with a flamethrower. So you going to be trying to be stupid? Let me show you how it's done, son. This would not fly. Oh, this would drive me crazy. We wouldn't have lasted. The first time he did that, I would have cussed him out. And then he did it again and we would have been through. My patience level for this kind of stuff is very short. I'm always very, very amazed at how the women who write in, how long they will put up with bullshit from these men and keep trying stuff and stuff. I just don't do it. I just don't. I don't know. My daddy used to make jokes when I was little. And he would say, when the good Lord was handing out patience and everybody had to line up to get their turn, you didn't want to line up because you didn't want to wait. You were too impatient to wait to get your patience in line. So, he had this whole routine of just, but bottom line was I didn't want to wait to get my patience, so I don't have any. And he's right. I couldn't do this. Okay, let's move on. Question number 22 of 25. Yeah, isn't that yucky? Female in the 28 to 34 age group. She's Caucasian from Coventry, West Midlands in the UK. Summary of issue. My husband wants an open marriage. Oh. I said no. Now I am heartbroken. I'm writing this right now more of as a vent and partly asking for guidance because I'm clueless as can be. I met my husband when he was 30. I met my husband, he's 30, I'm 26. When we were just 19 years old, a year and a half ago, we got married. We had what I always thought was a great relationship. But right now, I am discovering it was beyond flawed. It all began a couple of months into our marriage when he told me that he wants us to open a relationship. For you to realize the amount of shock and pain that befell me at that moment, I will tell you a bit about my background. I come from a broken household, the daughter of an absent father who married a narcissistic and physically abusive mother, then decided he had enough with her and her children and left early. The amount of dysfunction I lived through growing up left me for all my childhood and the better part of my teenage years incapable of forming any kind of healthy relationship. Oh boy. Then my husband came along. He loved me so much. He nurtured me with care. I looked at him as more of a than just a boyfriend. He was an entire family to me, a dearest friend who I could open my heart to and refuge from all that neglect and pain. He tells me he thought of leaving many times in the past, and he always wanted to be free and untied by marriage or any construct or delight, and wished to try many kinds of relationships. We are the first people in each other's lives and know what it's like to be with people other than me. He tells me he opted for staying because I was too vulnerable in the past, but now he thinks I'm stable enough. And given how strangled he feels stuck in our monogamous relationship, he wants things to change. I thought about it long and hard, but no part of me can even think about him being intimate with another woman. Judging from my words, you might think I have no life outside of him, but nothing can be further from the truth. I work in a creative industry, the job I'm passionate about. I earned a degree in STEM and work another 9 to 5 more stable job. Both places I work are in quite reputable, and I speak multiple language. English isn't even my mother tongue. People tell me I'm extremely attractive and beautiful, and I get hit on all the time. I have good friends. Excuse me. I have good friends that I can hang out with from time to time, but none, though, that I can tell all this to. All of that doesn't matter when at the end of the day, I have the self-esteem of an old, torn, and dried up, oh God, shoelace, and feel that I don't even know how to exist without him. If you have anything to tell me about my situation, any help, advice, or insight, I would really appreciate it. My thing is, I would suggest that you hit the couch of the nearest shrink. All that trauma and dysfunction that you suffered in childhood. I mean, I know he seemed like a breath of fresh air and like he was going to save you and all of that kind of stuff. But essentially, what you are now is right back in this dysfunctional, toxic relationship. It's just with a different man. Not your daddy, not your mama, with your husband. But it's the same thing. It's causing you, we tend to repeat patterns that cause us the same pain. So even if it presents differently, your hurt is the same. And I think that's what's going on with you. You don't want to open marriage. He does. So what does that mean? That means that you two have different ideas of what a marriage is. So what does that mean for your marriage? That it's over. That's what that means. I know that's hard for you to accept. That's why I want you to go see a therapist. Because he's already told you, he's put you on notice that he wants to go fuck around. That means it's just a matter of time before it happens. It could have already happened. It exposed you to a lot of stuff that you might not really want to be exposed to. You have to think about that, your health, the baby that you have to take. You need to be here to take care of it. So I would say first stop is a therapist. And second stop is a divorce attorney. And then see what you need to do and start putting everything in place. But start with your therapist first, because that's going to shore you up for the emotional upheaval and the battle that you're about to fight. You're not prepared to fight it right now. Okay. This is really hard because I know he's going to dip off. And since he told you, he feels like, okay, well, I already told you what I want now, so this is what's going to happen. It's going to be hard for you to adjust to that. This is awful. Poor thing. Yep, that's all I can tell you about that. This is over. So you got to start accepting it and start your healing process. Question number 23, female 22 to 27. She's African American from Louisville, Kentucky. Summary of issue: is this normal in a relationship? My boyfriend is 27 and I'm 24, and we are having issues. He calls me an quote old lady and an old hag. Wow. Just because I prefer to leave places around 9 and 9:30. These places are like friends' houses, for example, not hall parties or events. Many times I have to wake up early the next day at 6 for work, and I like to relax a bit and get ready before going to bed. It's gotten to the point where he's making me feel bad for being this way, and he calls me embarrassing and says that's why he doesn't want me to meet his friends. Just off of that, whenever I say I'm like this way, he has to belittle my reasons or twist my words. I get people are different, but his attitude towards this and his lack of wanting to compromise or understand me is what bothers me. Is this normal? No. What's also abnormal is that you let somebody sit there and call you names like that and you still want to be with them. Why would you let a man disrespect you like that? You know, and it's if you talking about you got to go to work the next day, that means it's a weeknight. That means if he had any fucking sense at all, he would be leaving somebody's house. Nobody wants company at their house at 10 o'clock at night and they got to go to work the next day. Take your happy ass home. He's that kind of just wanted, you got to throw him out and stuff. Or just people start wandering off, going to bed, leaving him sitting there by himself. He sound like that type. So what and when it's a situation like this, when instead of him calling an old lady, say, no, you just stupid. You don't realize you just want to wear out your welcome. Don't you realize some people want to go home, go to bed? They might want to have some, get some loving before they go to sleep. They have to go to work the next day. But what you gonna do? You gonna sit up there and running your mouth about nothing, occupying their time and making them stay up with you when you should be taking your ass home. I have enough sense to understand that, but you're stupid. And you want to call somebody old maid and hag and stuff, I just call you a desperate old stupid fool with no home training. That's what you are. You don't even understand what's going on. And want to drag on somebody. You tell people have to toss you out on your ass to tell you, well, it's time to go before you understand it. So, you could always went off on him like that. Just flip it around on him. Because really, seriously, if you got to go to work the next day, that means it's a weeknight. That means everybody needs to be home. At 9 o'clock, you should be leaving. So you could be home at 9:30, take your shower and do whatever you need to do, make your lunch for the next day or something, and be in bed by 10:30. That's a good timing. I don't have a problem with what you're saying here. It makes perfect sense. And it shows respect for other people's time in their homes and their need for privacy and couple time. Ooh, your boyfriend is stupid. What's going to ultimately say the stuff I just said to you so he can get a fucking clue. And then if this keeps up and he calls you names again, end the relationship. No woman should be subjecting herself to that kind of rudeness. Question number 24. This is a male in the 22 to 27 age group. He's Black from Chicago, Illinois. Summary of issue: act like you don't care. For context, I'm a 24-year-old African-American guy. I'm decently good looking and fit. I want to tell you about my theory and get your take on it. Often you hear in the dating world of men that we should act like we don't care, which I think is true. Once the scent of desperation fades, women become attracted to you. That is my theory. When I was 18 or 20, I was an idiot. I would go out with the intention of meeting girls, and I realized at one point how stupidly obvious that was to them. I self-reflected, grew as a person, and now treat women that I'm attracted to as I would anybody. As I should have when I was younger and stupid. And I got to say, it really does work. That's why men in relationships say they get way more attention the moment they get a girlfriend. It's because they are confident and at ease talking to women since they are already taken. Now, when I say act like you don't care, that doesn't mean not showing interest or flirting. What I mean is don't text back fast or seem too eager. Chat a bit, plan your date, and leave her wondering. I am aware, he has this in parentheses, I'm aware everybody's experiences are unique. If texting each other every day is working for you, well, then fantastic. If it's not broke, don't fix it. This is a broad statement and a piece of advice that has worked for me. I also think it's a good way to find out if a girl is into you. Stop asking questions. Does she text you back, trying to keep the conversation going? If not, who cares, and move on. What do you think of my theory? I think there's this mixture here, yes, but there's some validity to it, but not for the reasons that you think. Women like a confident man. Now you want to couch that confidence of acting, quote, acting like you don't care. What it is you really shouldn't care until you all are in a relationship. She's just somebody you just barely know what you caring about. You ain't in a relationship with her. So what is all this caring supposed to be? That's like stalkerish or something. I mean, you show interest in that, you want to try to figure out who she is and what she's all about, but there should be no desperation, no clinginess, no jealousy, no inquiries about, well, who is that and who is you with and where's you go? None of that should be happening. If she says, I got to get off the phone now, you say, oh, okay, bye. Women like a confident man. Men who are clingy, men who call too much, men who wanted you to be texting them all the time, men who want you to check in every 15 minutes, stuff like that are markedly insecure and desperate acting, and they turn women off. So what you perceive to be acting like you don't care is just you're presenting yourself as someone who has their life, they have stuff going on in their lives. They're handling their business. They're welcoming a partner into it, but that's not their chief focus. She's not going to become their everything, which is a burden to women. So yes, it gives them space to feel free to investigate you and to come to you in their own space and at their own speed. That's what's going on. That's why it works. It's not because you act like you don't care. Men, they have a funny way of putting stuff. Like their little lizard brains just really don't work too well. You guys see stuff in from an odd perspective. Why do you think a woman want to be with somebody who's desperate? Just like you don't want to be with somebody who's desperate. Although I think men prefer desperate women more than women prefer desperate men, because desperate women will give up the cooch. And so men like that. Let them move in with them, all kind of stuff. Desperate women will offer perks and benefits. But women have a different need, psychosocial need in their partners. They need strength. They need confidence. They need determination. They need somebody who's going to be responsible and accountable. They need stuff like that. And that's not demonstrated by a guy who's wanting to call you and text you every 15 seconds. Okay. Neediness is a turnoff. So you could go out with the intent of meeting girls. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what your intent is, but it's how you conduct yourself when you're out there with the intent of meeting women. As you flitting around and staring at everybody like this, and like eyes all big and just running up to different random women to get their number and stuff, and with no kind of discernment or no kind of demeanor to yourself of confidence and stuff. If you just doing that like a little spinning top, well, yeah, nobody's gonna want to really be bothered with you. Yeah, you definitely show interest in flirting and all of that. The thing that really is interesting to me is how you put, does she text you back? Why would you, as a man almost 30 years old, be texting all the fucking time? Phones make calls. If a woman is into you, she wants to hear your voice. We like men with nice, rich, deep voices. We want to hear that shit. We want to hear you talk all that shit to us. We want to see you say our name. Hey, baby, how you doing this? It's like, oh, it's so sexy. And we just be all excited. But you just want to fucking text all the goddamn time. Who you think got time for that? You young men need to quit that texting stuff. Pick up the phone and call people like you have some sense. Nobody has time to text you. Your feelings are going to be hurt constantly because nobody cares about all that texting. It's stupid. Okay. It's just not a way to advance a relationship. It's cowardly and it's not a good way to communicate. If you're trying to get something going with somebody, you need to talk to them, have conversations, let them see your face, body language, play footsie under the table, stuff like that. It adds a whole different dynamic to the relationship as it unfolds. Texting doesn't provide that. Okay. You got to let that go. Oh my God, please don't text me. Dudes want to be texting all the time. Oh my God, that is a major turn off. Yep. You think so, Sliver? You're probably right, girl. But it's just, I can't stand it. They want to just be texting you, especially if they text you, what you doing? WID? I was just stabbing pins into an effigy doll that looks like you. Are you in pain? And then they'd be like, well, what are you doing? What? And then the phone rings. It's like, well, why are you doing that? I said, I just wanted you to call instead of sending to text me. So I have a whole bunch of stupid shit like that that I will text back to guys when they ask me what you doing or where is you, and any kind of stupid text like that. I'm not gonna have a conversation with you by text. I'm not gonna fight with you by text, and you better not try to ask me out by text either. That doesn't work. All of those are cowardly, stupid things. Yeah, child. And I have these little voodoo dolls. I bought them in New Orleans. And you just take a picture of somebody, you stick their face on the little doll and start stabbing it with some pins. It's hilarious. I'm telling you. Send them a picture of it. Say, see, I'm not lying. They will be quick to call you then. Oh my God. Okay, this is our last question of the day. Now, you've been listening to this show. You've been listening and you're like, oh my God, this show is crazy. Yes, it is. But if you decide that you would like to participate in What the Fuck Tuesday, just look at the show, the description that's rolling across the screen. It'll give you instructions on how you submit your letter. And hopefully it will get picked. Not every letter does. But on the third Thursday of each month, we have a $10 advice show where you can, you come, you pay $10, and your question is definitely answered and is answered right there, right now in real time. That's the third Thursday of every month at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Other than that, we're here on Tuesdays doing the pre-submitted advice letters, okay? So here's our last question of the day, the question number 25. This is a female in the 35 to 41 age group. She's African-American from Glastonbury, Connecticut. Summary of issue: I need help with what to call my disinterested in-laws. Hello, and thank you, Miss Deb and Miss Candace, for taking my letter. Yes, you got to thank her because, honey, she be screaming. I'm Black. My husband is white. We've been together for 10 years, happily married for 4. I met his parents 2 months into dating him. His mom is polite, and his father hasn't said a word to me in years. I mean, literally, when we visit, which is now just once a year, he hardly says a word to me. At our wedding, neither of them even acknowledged me. They got completely wasted and even left the wedding to get more alcohol. Wow, even though there was plenty at the wedding. It is safe to say that they haven't embraced me and haven't shown any interest in learning about me. When I met my husband's parents, I immediately started calling them Mr. First Name and Mrs. First Name. So say Mr. Fred and Miss Ann. Oh, no. No, wait, how old are you? 35 to 41. You kind of old for that. Okay, well, let me read on. At this time, I thought it was cute and really respectful, and I didn't think too much of it. Now, fast forward to the other day, and I was talking to my best friend. She's white, and I mentioned that I call them that. She was very disturbed that they still let me call them Mr. and Mrs. and that it sounds submissive and really bad, especially given the racial dynamic. I have to say I agree with her after hearing her perspective. Do you agree with her perspective? What do you suggest I do? What would you do, Miss Deb? Okay, first of all, let's rewind to how these folks be not talking to you. Why do you let them get away with that? When you go into their house, right? You're supposed to walk in the door chattering like a fucking magpie. Well, hey there, whatever. Okay, let's say the daddy's name is Ronald and the mother's name is Susan, whatever. So you say, hi, Susan and Ronald. We've just been looking forward to seeing you so much. Let me just tell you about all this stuff. Look at these pictures. This is what we wrote. And my friend, this and that, and we did this and that. We went here and there. We did this and that, blah, 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 blah. I would wear them the fuck out talking. And then I'll start asking them questions. Have you ever been in a place like this before? Where is it you want to go travel to? What do you guys do besides drink? Engage them, force them into it. When you walk in the door to their house, I'm telling you, start running your mouth. Start talking to them about any and everything. You think of a whole bunch of stuff in your mind that you can talk about. Stuff you read online, books you read, stuff that you learned on this channel. I mean, stuff, whatever you want to talk about, you just be, if anything, they'll be sitting there looking at you like, oh my God, does she ever shut up? Where's the off switch? I will wear them the fuck out. You gonna talk to me. You're not gonna get away with that. Okay, and then, and like the mother, right? You could say, oh, so-and-so, whatever husband's name is, really likes your such and such. Let's, can we make it? And then I can watch you make it. And then I can learn how to make it for him. Do stuff like that. That's going to get them engaged with you. You guys have this like standoff. That you are married, that's your husband, those are your in-laws. They're not going nowhere, neither are you. So the person who's new to this whole scene is you. You the one that's gonna have to make the change happen, girl. This is on you. But I'm telling you, I know me. I'd say, oh, is that what we doing? Well, we're not gonna do that though. We're gonna do shit my way. And I would be wearing them out with all my words. I would save up words. I would go buy words at the word store and just come in and just dump them on them. Just all kind of words just to be flying out of my mouth. I just would not stop talking. For hours, I would be running my mouth and just dizzying them with all my words. They would be just dizzy and just pass out on the floor because they just too much to hear. Get them up and make them do some of them little dances on TikTok. Show them that on the TV. Say, come on, let's do this so we can make a video of all of us doing this dance. Come on, you guys. Stuff like that. I mean, engage them and force them to do something. Of course, the first 2 times they're probably going to say no. They're going to be like, what's going on? They're going to be confused. They're going to feel like out of place. They're going to be like wondering what's happening here. Don't let up. Every time you see them, I don't care if it is even once a year, make sure you do that. Okay? You don't let them get away with this. And you're going to stop calling them Miss such and such. That's some slave shit. Yes, Mr. Fred. Yeah, Miss Annie. I mean, I know they do that in the South, and it's a sign of respect for, for older women. I get it. But your white friend is more woke than you on that particular thing. Since they're white and you black, you don't talk to them like that. You could talk to another older black woman like that. You could call her Miss Annie or Miss Janie or something like that. You could do that. But you're not going to do that to no white in-laws. You're going to stop that shit immediately. Okay, you're going to call them by their first name. You know how they call you? Why they get special privileges and respect. Girl, you was seriously tripping on that one. Let me see what else you asked here. They haven't shown any interest in learning about me. Well, so? Have you volunteered any information about yourself? As I said, see, you come in the door telling them stuff and running your mouth. You don't wait for them to ask you. You wear them the fuck out with your talking. I know we haven't really talked that much, but guess what? I just saved all this conversation. I just want you to know all the stuff about me, this and that. And if they say, well, which I doubt they will because they're going to be too polite. Well, we don't really care. It's like, yes, you do. Because I'm going to be the mother of your grandkids. And guess what? If you don't care about me, then you must not care about them because they come and popping out of me, honey. Don't get it twisted. Let them know. So, yeah, I think that answers all of your questions. Let me just peek right through this right quick. Hold on a second. She's really bad. Yeah, okay, that's it. Those are my answers. That's what Deb would do. People always want to know, what would Deb do? That's what Deb would do. I would wear them bitches out, okay? You don't have to call them that, but that's just between me and you. They get woe the fuck out, okay? Yeah. Just no. You're going to cease and desist with that Mr. and Miss thing. That's not going to happen. They're not strangers. You don't owe them all of that. That's family now. Even though they're ratchet and stupid, drunks and whatnot, it's still family. I mean, what you going to do? That's your man's parents. So that's family. You don't address them like that. You call them by their first name. Okay, you're going to start doing that immediately. Set up a video call. And y'all go call them and start with your conversation. Your talking. Show her stuff that you bought, that you was looking at for the house. Just do stuff. Stop this. Okay, this little Cold War that you guys have. You waiting for them to do stuff. They're the old people. That's you, the young one that's young. That's on you to do. Okay, make sure that you take those steps. So that's what we got coming up. I keep on swearing I'm gonna try to make a video. But honey, I'm still like suffering from my lag from the time change thing. And then Thanksgiving, oh my God, I was so hungover and so full. I think I gained about 5 pounds. So much sweet potato pie and mac and cheese and just all kind of other stuff I didn't have no business eating, but it was so good. And dressing and that stuff you eat once a year. Yeah, it was so tasty. I was like, yum, yum, yum. This is good. So let me think. What do we got coming up? Well, you know what? I have this webinar that I was trying to do, but so far I don't think anybody signed up for it. that's how I was trying to do it. I guess I'll put it off until the spring, whatever. Maybe there's just a little bit too much going on the holidays. But if you want information about us, it's at Debsterism.com. You know, if I only have 10 people, I'll still do it. But right now, there's like nobody. So I'm like, wow, this is awful. This is like a party where nobody shows up. That's all right. And then on the, let me see, what date is that going to be? Hold on a second. So that's going to be December 15th, this Thursday, December 15th. We will have our next $10 on the spot dating advice live stream. The instructions are pretty easy to follow. You just pay the fee, then you log on, let us know that you've done it. And then either I or Shay will call you up to the stage and we'll address your question. And you can call in and give it over the air. Either one works. I've also set up a form on Debsterism.com. So for those of you who want to submit your question and pay in advance, like if you have to miss the live, you can do it that way. We set that up too because it was more convenient for people. As an option, okay? But that's on the third Thursday of the month. That will be on December 15th, okay? We'll be taking live questions from you versus the ones that I read like tonight. All right, so I hope you guys go out and have a great time for the rest of the week. I might see you on the weekend, but don't count on it. Don't hold your breath because you'll be dead. I'm going to tell you that. But other than that, I'll see you all next week, okay? Bye-bye.